Hey, I'm Chelsea Warner, and today we're going for a little stroll between the Art Gallery of New South Wales, through the Domain and the Botanical Gardens, and to the Sydney Conservatorium of Music, where I study. I would describe my music as alternative R&B. In the work that I do with other artists, though, I work in a bunch of different genres. When Happy Mag asked me to be a part of Somewhere Sounds, I was so thrilled. I really love all of the artists that have done this previously. It's so inspiring, and I honestly work a lot with found sounds in my music. I love creating my own samples. I love messing with things in Ableton and the Ableton sampler, stretching things, warping things, so that's already a big part of what I do. So I was thrilled when they asked me to be a part of the series. Visual art has a big kind of place in my heart. I'm not a visual artist by any means, but as a kid growing up, my mum would encourage my brother and I to do a lot of different little creative things. We would paint a lot. I drew a lot as a kid. My mum would paint with us in the backyard. She would take us to the library to read. She really encouraged a lot of creativity and curiosity, and we would go to the art gallery together as I got a bit older. That holds a really special place in my heart in terms of like my creative roots and what initially inspired me to create as a child. And then the Conservatorium is where I'm doing my Bachelor of Music, and was where I really had a lot of my first musical experiences outside of school. It was really where the world kind of opened up to me, and I feel like I kind of blossomed a little bit into a creative person and a musician through seeing so many amazing musicians around me every day. So a lot of my really formative early creative experiences were kind of around that area, around the con. Today we're using a Zoom recorder and a Sennheiser shotgun mic to record the sample pack. Challenges that I'm anticipating are probably weather-related things, maybe wind to contend with in terms of like the audio recordings, being outside and everything being in a garden, ambient noise of the city, just the general chaos of being in the middle of Sydney. I hope that is all right. I mean, we can probably find some beauty within that chaos. Hopefully no one like thinks I'm too huge of a weirdo for just randomly recording like a bush or something, but I think it should be all right. I sample things quite a lot. Like I love creating really weird, interesting sounds. It's my favorite bit of sound production. So I love, just doing weird stuff in Ableton. My goal for the day is to get something pitched, because I really want to be able to make some keys sounds, like maybe a synth or two. So I'm hoping I can like whack a pole. I would love to do that. And then I really want to get some percussion from some of the like foliage, like some crunchy leaves would be great for some hi-hats or something like that. Hoping to get a good variety so that I can have some harmonic and rhythmic sounds. After recording the samples, we're gonna go back to my studio space, which is part of Offbeat Collective here in Marrickville. We're gonna finesse the samples. When I start working with the samples, probably we'll do some like color coding, and then I'm gonna chop up and kind of organize all of the sounds into, percussive or harmonic. And then I really like to start with keys. So I want to try and kind of do some sound design there, build up a bit of a chord progression and get some cool layers and textures going on harmonically. That's my goal and my plan, because I feel like once I tend to get the keys sounds and the harmonic basis of the beat or the track feeling really good, it's easier to get a vibe cooking, because then you kind of add the beat over that and it already sounds good. In terms of genre, I'm probably, I can't help myself. I'm probably going to make something in the alternative R&B, lo-fi hip hop space, see if I can get those worlds to intersect nicely. In terms of what I'm working on next, I just dropped a single with my good friend Amalia for my own artist project. It's called Nervous. And the work that I do as a producer and as a songwriter for other artists, I do a lot of work with up-and-coming artists in the kind of grassroots R&B scene here in Sydney, and I'm super passionate about being a part of it, being hopefully a driving force within it as well. As a producer in professional studio spaces, what brings me the most joy is to kind of see how the space is widening to include more women, more non-binary people. I remember one of the first musical experiences I had was I did a songwriting camp that KLP held for women and non-binary people, and seeing amazing female producers just living the example and leading by example, like Maribel, Nina Geraci, and having that space held for me to enter audio and to enter music production was just such a blessing. And now that I hold that space, I really would love to be, hopefully fortunate enough to continue to work in this environment in audio and in music production, and to be an example so that one day you don't have to acknowledge, whether somebody's a woman or whatever they choose to be. People are just professionals, musicians, producers, artists, and hopefully the space can just be infinite and inclusive of anybody who deserves it. Thank you for having me. I really hope you enjoy creating your own music with the Ableton sample pack. Thanks.